I'm just going to read a brief statement and then I'll take some questions. I can advise you that a year and 10 days on from Yanfei Bao's disappearance, remains have been found in the search for her. While searching private farmland in the Green Park area this morning, a shallow grave was discovered along a tree line. The remains are not immediately able to be formally identified, and work is now underway to excavate and forensically examine them. The news has been shared with Yanfei's immediate family, and while this is long hoped for, it still comes as a great shock. The area had previously been searched, but new information has led us back here to search specific locations. At this time, we're unable to share what that new information is that has led us to the search for operational reasons. A scene examination is now underway where these remains have been found, and police will be visible in the area for some time. Thank you.
As you've said, this area has been searched extensively in the past, so what was different on this occasion?
Yeah, so we've always known that the Green Park area has been an area of interest for us. We searched out there off and on for several weeks after her disappearance, but it is that new information that has come to light that has given us quite a specific direction or location of where we needed to be.
Okay, you obviously can't confirm that it is her until that process is done, but are you reasonably confident that this is Yanfei Bao?
Yeah, so there will be a forensic post-mortem. The coroner will confirm the identification, but I am comfortable that we were searching for Yanfei and that we have found her.
On a personal level, this has been more than a year now on this investigation. You have close relationship with the family, a big team here. What does this mean for you and the team?
Yeah, there's a lot of emotions today for all of the investigation team and everybody who's been involved in the last year and 10 days. We are relieved that what we set out to do, we have done. We're enormously proud of the police team that have worked really hard on this over the last year. So we're relieved, we are pleased. We went out there today, this was the intention. It does still come as a shock to all of us, but yeah, we're pleased that we've been able to give this news to her family.
How did they receive it? She had a child and a husband here. How did they receive the news?
So her family here in New Zealand and her family in China knew that we were searching today. They knew that we were very hopeful. We've given them that news this morning. They are in shock. They're upset. I think it's probably something that will take a little bit of time to settle in.
Is there any evidence that the accused had any assistants or any accomplices, be that locally, elsewhere in New Zealand, or even overseas?
I'll just leave that question, please. But what I can say is that we're certainly not seeking anybody else in relation to Yanfei Bao's disappearance.
You mentioned that there's scene examinations and forensic examinations to take place, but what are the other next steps you'll be taking, especially ahead of the trial, and how are you feeling now that you've had this finding ahead of that date? Yeah, so
we're preparing for trial in October of this year. We will conduct a scene examination out in this Green Park area, the forensic post-mortem tomorrow. In terms of what else happens, we just continue preparing for trial. And I guess, one piece of this puzzle that we didn't have, we're comfortable that we now have. So that's helpful in painting a full picture.
Are you still expecting the trial to go ahead as it stands?
Well, it's obviously a new and important discovery, but currently at this stage I expect the trial to happen in October.
And when will we have results from that forensic investigation?
So the post-mortem will take place tomorrow. It will probably be a couple of days, I would imagine, for forensic results to come through to confirm the identification.
Nikki, are you able to specify the condition of the remains that were found? Were they wrapped in something? Were they intact in one piece?
Yep. I really don't want to get into kind of the details of the remains, but you know, we are 1 year and 10 days since Yanfei went missing, and like I said, it's not confirmed, but I'm comfortable that it is her.
Nikki, obviously the ideal scenario would have been to find her alive, but when we spoke not long ago, you said this was something that you thought about every single day. Does finding her, even though she is dead, bring you a level of comfort?
Yes, it does bring a level of comfort. It is also a weight off shoulders. You know, it's not just me, it is the investigation team. It is all of the police that have worked on this over the last year. We've all felt this really heavily, that, you know, this is a piece that we haven't been able to finalise. So it is a really proud day. It's the sort of, you know, this is why we come to work.
And just elaborating off that, in the past when we've spoken, we've talked a bit in depth about her daughter specifically, and you touched on the family, but going over what you just said then, how does it feel, you know, thinking about her daughter and the importance that you hold in making sure you bring her mum home? Yeah.
I guess what it means is that, you know, going forward, we'll be able to tell a full story and not have a big part of that story missing or undone. So that's really satisfying and really comforting, that we will, you know, be able to give her daughter and her family answers to a lot of questions that we haven't been able to so far.
With this discovery, does that raise the prospect of any further charges, whether that's an accused or anyone else?
I think that's probably we'll have to wait and see.
What else happens at the scene now? Anything, any further investigation that's required out there?
Yeah, so we'll conduct a scene examination like we usually would. We'll have some of our experts out there who will help us with that. The remains will be removed from that scene today, and I expect that we will be there certainly all day tomorrow, maybe into Thursday.
Have you spoken to any neighbours? How do they feel knowing that you've made this discovery, and property owners on their property?
Yeah, so we're obviously on private farmland. We've been there several times. The family that are on that farm have been incredibly generous in allowing us access onto their property several times. Yet they've obviously been advised of the result today. They're equally as shocked as well.
Does the accused have any knowledge or links to the area in which the discoveries were made?
I'll just leave that. I'll leave that question, just obviously in terms of the trial happening in October.
The statement mentions that it's a shallow kind of grave where you located the remains. How shallow is shallow? Are we talking?
Shallow is probably about 150 mil.
Okay. Wow.
Is it something you should have picked up in previous searches, or is it just one of those things, it's a huge property and, you know, lots of different aspects?
So it is a large property. It's under a tree line, so you know you get the normal organic fall off trees. No, there's no obvious disturbance, and I don't think that there would have been an obvious disturbance at the time either. I think that you know, that was probably covered up.
So was the lead that you had today quite specific?
Yes.
And just going off that, in hindsight, I suppose, given the tip that you've had that has led you here, is there any sense of frustration from yourself or the team that this was something that perhaps you could have picked up slightly earlier in the investigation?
It's frustrating. I mean, the whole year and 10 days has been frustrating that we haven't been able to find Yanfei. In terms of the information, no, because I understand the process that's had to go through for us to obtain that.
Can you say when this information came to you?
The information came in probably about 6 to 8 weeks ago.
Why act now?
Well, we've had about 60 people out searching today, so there's a bit of planning that's needed to we've had to undergo to make sure that what we set out to do today, we did it methodically, we did it efficiently, and that we got the right result.
Can you tell us a little bit about that process? How do you actually go about that and the ins and outs of making sure that you do it properly?
We've got a very experienced search and rescue officer who's been assigned as our officer in charge of all the searching. There's a lot goes into it. Certainly a lot of visits to the area. What does the ground look like? What's the terrain? What resources, what equipment do we need? How many people are we going to need? There's quite a lot that goes into it. I guess some of the science behind the terrain, how deep do we have to search? Yeah, it's not something we would rush out and do, particularly because, everybody knows we've searched a lot, but we were really hopeful today, and I'm so pleased that we've been able to achieve what we set out to do today.
Was there much searching actually required, or were you able to almost go to the spot?
Well, we were searching for about an hour and a half, and then found the remains.
Sorry, have you found any of the other items you were looking for? Your handbag, a spade, any of those things?
Once we've found the remains, it's essentially we just freeze and control that scene, and removing the remains, and then a deeper search into the scene. So I don't know at this stage. We'll see what happens. Yep.
And last time you were searching in the similar area, how long did you spend searching that same area?
So we were out in that Green Park area probably. Yanfei went missing on Wednesday, the 19th of July. We were out there on that Saturday. In that, I'm talking like the broad Green Park area. And you may remember, but that weekend Christchurch went into flood. We had some really terrible weather. So we've been out in the Green Park area numerous occasions. And we've been on this farmland several times. Yep.
Do you have a stat?
In terms of getting that information 6 to 8 weeks ago, how significant was that around, we just had the anniversary long ago. Did that have something, did that have any sort of implication in getting that evidence?
Sorry, can you just ask that again?
So, in the fact that we've had the 1 year anniversary
Yes.
recently, and you got the new evidence 6 to 8 weeks
Mhm.
ago, the new tip, sorry, was there any relation between the two, the upcoming anniversary prompted it?
No.
Did you have a figure on how many searches you've done to date in the Green Park area up until now?
Gosh, how many searches? No, I would be kind of trying to have a guess, because we've chunked it into different areas. But certainly in that 4 to 6 weeks immediately after her disappearance, we were out there regularly. Yep, and we've been out, I guess, on a couple of occasions since when evidence has pointed us in that direction. But this, and clearly, has been the strongest information that we've received.
The information that you've received recently,
Mm-hmm.
is the source of that what led you to this Green Park area in the first place?